Well, if this is what our elite does when they're on retreat, maybe it should remain a secret. And now here is Katie Wu with an update from Crime File 6. Katie?
Earl.
No, I've always, you know, a dictatorship would be a heck of a lot easier. There's no question about it.
The owl is in his leafy temple. Let all within the grove be reverent before him. Lift up your heads, O ye trees, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting spires. For behold, here is Bohemian shrine, and holy are the pillars of this house.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. And now, back to Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
No family tree, great American, Vietnam veteran, you name it. Former State Senator John DeCamp. And the story he's about to tell is documented. I suggest everyone get the Franklin Coverup. Really understand the level of evil we're dealing with. He's got a very, very busy and successful law practice. We appreciate him taking time out to join us today. Well, it's because Bohemian Grove is back in the news, headlines out in California.
Was that right? Tell me more.
Well, it's just, well, you know, I got video out of there of somebody begging for their life and getting burned on a fire. But anyways, I'm getting attacked from the New York Times to you name it. They're saying, well, Jones says they're sacrificing people in there, and all it shows is a mock human sacrifice. The paper even says that. Well, all I ever said is somebody begged for their life when they burned them. I was hiding in the woods 150 yards away, and they admit I went in and got the video.
On the advice of my best friend, closest friend, godfather, whatever, eventually writing a book because he told me that what I should probably do to protect myself. And that man named Bill Colby, about the time that I started writing the next book. Bill, as you know, was head of the CIA and ended up floating dead in a pond somewhere. But I won't get into that right now. But anyway, so I wrote the book, and as I got at the very beginning of this story and working on it, one of the things that I did do was, as I say, as you say, obtain the diaries of this young boy to see just what he did say, and then I had them check.
Oh, yeah. You understand. This all happened.
Yeah, this isn't a fantasy. I ended up winning $1 million on behalf of against awful, overwhelming odds, including the Omaha World Herald newspaper that attacked me so viciously because one of the key individuals that got locked up in prison was their editor, one of their editors, and another individual. But anyway,
well, yeah, people are going to prison for this.
I took simply the diary of Paul Bonacci, and I printed a good portion of them in my book, and one of them, one of the areas described a trip in, I think it was 1984, I can even read part of it here, in fact, in which he was taken to an area around Sacramento, and then where they had the great big tall trees, and then they went in where there's some owl, big huge carved owl or something, and close as I've been to Bohemian Grove, he took me out and showed me where it was, and indeed, there is a place there, and I didn't know there was a place called Bohemian Grove. Clearly is where he was taken, and he was taken out there for a ceremony in which they committed some pretty horrible things on another boy. They had 3 boys, and they filmed it, and I didn't know that the thing was Bohemian Grove back then, nor did the kid when he was raised. All he knew was he was taken. Let me just read it. It'll take 3 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I went in January. Now, this is a kid named Paul Bonacci writing this, and this is directly word for word from his diary. I went in January of '84 on every trip. I was paid by men King knew for sex. In the summer of '84, sometime I went to Dallas, Texas, and had sex with several men King knew in a hotel. I flew on YMR Airlines, by the way, that's a private airline or private charter deal, and CAM Airlines, another private charter deal, normally for King. Never had much personally to do with King, only went where he told me to go. In or on July 26th, I went to Sacramento, California. King flew me out on a private plane from Epps Airfield in Omaha, Denver, where we picked up Nicholas, a boy who was about 12 or 13. Then we flew to Vegas, flew to Transcript, and drove into Las Vegas into some ranch and got and flew on to Sacramento. We were picked up by a white limo and taken to a hotel. I don't remember the name of it. We, meaning Nicholas and I, were driven to an area that had big trees. Took about an hour to get there. There was a cage with a boy in it who was not wearing anything. Nicholas and I were given these Tarzan things to put around us and stuff like that. They told me to, I won't use the word, blank the boy and stuff. In other words, have sex. At first I said no, and they held a gun to my genitals, I'll use the word, and said do it or else lose them or something like that. I began doing it to the boy and stuff. And Nicholas had anal sex and stuff with him. We were told to blank him and stuff and beat on him. I didn't try to hurt him. We were told to put our blank in his mouth and stuff and sit on the boy's blank and stuff, and they filmed it. We did this stuff to the boy for about 30 minutes or an hour when a man came in and kicked us and stuff in the genitals and picked us up and threw us. He grabbed the boy and started blanking him and stuff. The man was about, not sure how to say it, the man was about so many inches long, and the boy screamed and stuff, and the man was forcing his blank into the boy all the way. The boy was bleeding from his rectum, and the man tossed me and him and stuff, and put the boy right next to me and grabbed the gun and blew the boy's head off. The boy's blood was all over me, and I started yelling and crying, and then grabbed Nicholas and I and forced us to lie down. They put the boy on top of Nicholas, who was crying, and they were putting Nicholas' hands on the boy's blank. They put the boy on top of me and did the same thing. They then forced me to blank the dead boy. It's pretty crude. They put a gun to our heads to make us do it. His blood was all over us. They made us kiss the boy's lips. Anyway, two other things. Then they made me do something I don't even want to even write, so I won't. After that, the men grabbed Nicholas and drugged him off, screaming. They put me up against the tree and put a gun to my head and fired into the air. I heard another shot from somewhere, and then saw the man who killed the boy drag him like a toy. Everything, including when the men put the boy in the trunk, was filmed. The men took me with them, and we went up in a plane. Saw the bag the boy was in. We went over a very thick brush area with a clearing. Over the clearing, they dropped the boy. One said the men with the hood would take care of the body for them. I didn't see Nicholas until that night at the hotel. He and I hugged and held each other for a long while. About 2 hours later, the men or Larry King came in and told us to go take a shower since we'd only been hosed off at some guy's house. We took a shower together and then were told to put on the Tarzan thing. After we were cleaned up and dressed in these things, we were told to put on short socks and a shirt and shoes and driven to a house where the men were at, some others. They had the film and they played it. As the men watched, they passed Nicholas and I around as if we were toys.
This is the New World Order.
This is an impressive crowd, the haves and the have-mores. Some people call you the elite. I call you my base. This word dictatorship would be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator. There's no rules. Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracies concerning the attacks of September the 11th. Malicious lies from the terrorists themselves, from the guilty.
Remember, honey, no story memos about this, all right?
You keep forgetting, dearest, I am not a journalist. I work in television news.
That's my girl.